Okay, so right at the end of this video, we're going to be completely transforming the Lamborghini. Something that was supposed to be done before we went to Spain. But obviously then we got into all that commotion. And, well, let's give you guys an update. So last we saw of the Lamborghini Gallardo was that we attempted to do a road trip to Spain, straight to Barcelona. But as soon as we got off the ferry, we had just some intermittent problems. It just kept cutting out for just a random reason. In the end, we finally got it trailered back onto the ferry and then trailered off the ferry and then to RE Performance. Now, after Ricky plugged in the Lambo, the problem seemed to be with the crank sensor, and that's why, obviously, it's an intermittent fault, and sometimes it just wouldn't start. So after all that commotion abroad, a crank sensor, which ended up being a really cheap part, ended up being the problem. So now we should get a first time start up in the twin turbo Gallardo. Come on. Let's go. We are running nice. Let's get this out of here. Now, a lot of people jump to the conclusion to say that the problem was because I had the turbos fitted incorrectly, or because I just generally modified the car, or it just been tuned incorrectly. A crank sensor could go on pretty much anyone's car. It could go on a Corsa or a Lamborghini. That's just the whole point of car ownership, and that's the whole point of this channel. I'll show you the ups and the downs, but the point is now the Lamborghini is back. Come on. Now, it is good to have the twin turbo Gallardo back, but it didn't run right straight the way after we changed the crank sensor. Now, although the Gallardo started up first time, no problems, after changing the crank sensor, it didn't run 100% right, and that is because I cranked the car so much that I'd flooded the engine with fuel. So we had to sort that out first, but now it should be running 100%. Now, we've got a huge modification to crack on with. I'm a little bit nervous about it because I've not really done it before, but in the meantime, let's have a little bit of fun. I've never driven anything this quick before. It's ridiculous. But there is just one more problem with the Gallardo, and that problem is all of this. Now, I like black cars, I really do. They look really good when they're clean. But it's basically UK wintertime now, and it's impossible to keep a black car looking clean. First time M3, come on. Get in. Now, I think a normal Lamborghini owner would just get the car PPF, like a paint protection film. But in case you haven't noticed, we don't tend to do things by the book on this channel. So I've gone ahead and I've ordered a full vinyl wrap for the Lamborghini Gallardo, but this time it's a little bit different to usual. Now, before I show you this, and it's a bit wild, it's time to refuel ourselves. Now, I'm always on the go, whether that's on the car, whether I'm out filming, or whether I'm in the unit working. And just like the heater in my unit, we need fuel. And I know how easy it is when you're constantly on the go just to grab some fast food, something that's not necessarily that healthy for you. And that's why I'm never too far away from a Y food. Now, I'm absolutely stacked up with Y food, as you can see, because it is the perfect meal replacement drink. It's not a diet drink, it's not a protein shake, it's simply a meal replacement drink. And it's a lot healthier than having fast food. Inside one of these shakes, there is 26 vitamins and minerals. It's high in fiber, high in protein, it's lactose free, it's gluten free, and there's no added sugar. It's loads of different flavors to choose from. This is one of the new flavors, salted caramel. At the minute, happy banana is my favorite, but this could turn out to be my new favorite. So if you need a healthy alternative whilst you're on the go, then click the link in the description box below and you can grab yourself a Y Food taster pack to find your favorite flavor. And with help from this discount code appearing underneath you right now, you'll save yourself a bit of cash as well. Thanks, Y Food. Okay, so this wrap in the Lamborghini is a little bit different to all of the other wraps that we've done. This is all coming in sections, and that is because, well, this is the first time I've ever done a printed design wrap on the Lambo. So this design I know is going to cause a bit of a stir, but it's a Lamborghini, it's supposed to cause a stir. It's a sort of DDE / John Olsen style design. This is the design pics that I've got. It's a half and half wrap. On one side it's a satin black with sort of satin grey. On the other side it's satin white with satin grey bits, and then it's separated with an orange stripe which should match these calipers. All the bits are for it in there. Now this is going to be so difficult because we have to match up all the different lines on all the different panels, so we can't really strip the car to bits, because if we do then we won't be able to line them up. I also got to be really careful because I don't want to rub my knife in the paint. Now the Lambo isn't going to wrap itself, so enough talking. Let's get wrapping.
That little flex, she wanna know me. I stay low key, all gas, no brakes, baby, let them hoes sleep. Body on 10, make your girl OD. I get in my way, never out of my lane.
So after I've masked and prepped the car was ready for the first bit of wrap, which was the bonnet. Now this is all one complete piece with no joints in the middle, so we had to get it as straight as possible.
Baby, won't you keep me company?
The masking tape there is to stop me from running my knife into the paint by accident, and also the wrap won't stick to the tape. Well, it's certainly different, but I'm buzzing with it. I think this is going to look so good. Now the hardest part about this whole thing was actually getting the line in the middle, and as you can see it's not quite in the centre, but that doesn't matter because there is this orange stripe, well, one of these orange stripes, see they're quite thin, they will go down the middle, and that'll be covering the sort of centre line, so it can be a few mil out, but that was one of the hardest bits, and obviously you don't want it all wonky, but so far so good. I think next I'm going to move on to the roof, and then it's going to get even harder. This green tape is called knifeless tape. I've run that down both sides of the roof to avoid me running the knife directly onto the paint and causing any scratches. But I'll show you how that works in a minute.
I made it where I'm at on my own. Had a couple blocks in the road.
After I've laid the wrap down on the roof, then I can start removing it with the knifeless tape. It's basically like a fishing line. You can wrap over it, and then when you pull the fishing line out, it will cut the wrap nice and straight without leaving any marks on the paint. And I can already tell that this is gonna look so good when it's done.
I think you should side with me. Stay solid one time if you lie with me. Just promise you never lie to me. Keep them moving.
Okay, so far so good, and it's looking really good, but this is actually, well, supposedly the easy part. We've got the bonnet down and the roof down, and then it starts getting a little bit tricky when you move to this rear boot, and then also the whole side. The whole of this left side is one huge massive piece from the front to the back, and it's all got to line up with the sort of zigzaggy lines. There's one thing that's in the way, and that is the wing mirror. So the wing mirror's got to be taken off. I think I've got to take the door card off to get it off. I hate taking things apart on this, but we've got no choice, we've started. So after starting this whole channel with an Audi TT, and then eventually moving to an Audi R8, and then now to a Lamborghini Gallardo, they're all really similarly put together. So taking the door cut off is not too different to an Audi TT. But the wing mirror on this is a little bit different. I had to use my phone as a mirror to put into where the door speaker hole was to see where the bolts were to undo the mirror. But once they were undone, we could guide the mirror off. Hello? Is that Shield Works?
Yes, it is. How may I help you?
Well, I'm gonna need your help. Now yes, this piece was definitely not a job for myself, so I called in some help, and Emily and Lewis absolutely smashed it. I wouldn't have even known where to start with this. The whole side of this car is one big panel, and doing it all in one piece is simply just going to be impossible. So some bits we really had to improvise. Okay, sometimes it's time to admit defeat. Like, this has literally been the absolute death of me. It's really difficult, and I couldn't do it without any help. So we've called in a few friends. We've got Emily and Lewis from Shield Works, and they're coming to, well, look at the progress that's already been made. We've got pretty much the whole side of one car done thanks to them. I literally wouldn't have been able to do it. It's just getting me too much stress, and I just don't even know. But look, they've absolutely smashed out one side of the car already, and in return for these guys helping me out. What you guys need to do is click the link in the description box below. Emily's got her own channel where she does wrapping the cars, she does all her side of things as well, and then obviously they've got their business as well. If you've got a Lamborghini which wants a print wrap on the side, then you know exactly where to go. But again, a massive shout out to Emily and Lewis for coming to help. But now it's onto the rear bumper, and it's only me and Hannah this time. But it actually turned out to be one of the easiest rear bumpers that I've ever wrapped. Most of it was really flat. Now the hardest thing about this whole print wrap, which has made it harder than all the other wraps before, is that when you actually heat this wrap up, you can stretch it like a normal wrap. The only issue is if you stretch it, you end up missshaping all of the like little camo designs, so you have to be so careful how you stretch it, and on something like a bumper you need a load of heat as well, hence why I got Emily and Lewis in just to help me with, like I would have been able to do it on my own, but now it's down to the sort of cutting stages on the rear bumper. As I've mentioned, this rear bumper is probably going to come off anyway. I can't have a twin turbo Lamborghini with a rear bumper on, come on. So yes, you probably all think I've gone mad because I'm wrapping the rear bumper just to take it off again. I just think it looks so plain with the rear bumper on, and to do all that work to the twin turbos and not show it, it kills me. And hey, who cares what other people think? This is my car and I'm doing it the way that I enjoy it, and I love to see it. And those exposed turbos and the exposed exhaust just look amazing. Oh my days, I literally have no words. It's perfect. Obviously it's not finished, but it's perfect. Just look at it, it's absolutely incredible. I have to say a massive thank you to Emily and Lewis from Shield Works for coming down and actually helping me with the Lambo. They really didn't have to do that, and without them, there's no way I would have got that side done. Not a chance. Just look at her, look at her presence. Am I in a dream? This is absolutely unreal. I still cannot believe that this is my car. Now I can understand if this seems strange to some of you guys, but this has literally been my dream build, and it just keeps getting better and better. And that's the thing, not one of us who are watching this has got the exact same dream as the other person. Some of us dream to have twin turbo Lamborghinis with half and half camo wraps. Some of us dream to have yachts. Some of us dream to have loads of children. But one thing's for sure, we all share the same interest in cars, and that's exactly what I love. So whether this car, your mate's car, or a car you see in a car park is not your cup of tea, that doesn't matter as long as you can appreciate the amount of work and effort that has gone into it. Speaking of work and effort, we've still got a lot of work and effort to be getting on with on the Lamborghini Gallardo. We've got one side sort of completed now, and then we've got to move on to the bumper and the other side. But as always, you guys are the judges. Let me know in the comment section below, do you like the new look of the Lamborghini Gallardo? If you've enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. I'd like to say, and that's a wrap, but it's not quite finished. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Peace out.